right, guys, we're going to start in just 1 second. Get queued up. On this end, we're trying to get it to Facebook, but don't think it's going to work. So. All right, guys. Well, welcome to Next Level by Association Virtual. You guys, I am so excited about tonight because of the gentleman that we have, Les Brown, who's a very good friend of mine, a mentor of mine, somebody that I consider a huge part of my life. For many, many years, I heard about him. I listened to him speak. I, listened to recordings. And then I got an opportunity to meet him about maybe 12 years ago and just had a phenomenal interaction with him. And I walked away going, he's even better in person than he is on recording. And we just had a great interaction, a great conversation. And then I've been with him many times after that. And we've spent some personal time together. He's been to our Next Level by Association live dinners. And we've always just, I've always walked away, one, energized and encouraged. I've always walked away more in love with my life than before I was in the room with him. And I always walked away with a sense of encouragement and love and appreciation for people. And I think that that's one of the things that, Les, you have been so masterful at teaching people is that in spite of everything going on in the world around them, that there is hope and that there is love and that there is grace and there is dignity and all the great things in life. And I think you have just embodied that to such a degree. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you in my life, brother.
Well, I say ditto because you've been a mentor to me, and I just love your spirit and energy that you've decided to be the kind of person to do the greater work, to motivate and inspire people to reach their greatness, to get out of their head and their comfort zone and be able to create a presence on the planet. We need more like you. And so it's a pleasure to be able to spend some time with you. It's been a minute, but I'm excited that we have some time to spend. This is one of the benefits of the coronavirus. My daughter, Dr. Ona Brown, she said, gaps are from God. And so we have this period where we can think and connect with relationships that we have not really been in touch with a lot and begin to restructure how we approach this thing called life. So I'm excited to spend some time with you.
Amen, brother. I appreciate that. Les, some people know your story. Some of the people, know about your growing up and Mamie Brown and all this stuff. But why don't you enlighten some of them that maybe don't know it, or maybe they just need to hear a refresher from the very lips of Les Brown?
Well, I always start off my presentation saying that I'm here because of two women. One gave me life, the other one gave me love. That God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hoped to be, I owe to my mother. And thinking about the fact that I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor with my twin brother, Wesley. And mama took us in as foster kids when we were 6 weeks of age. And then later on, she adopted us along with 5 other children. So she raised 7 children by herself. I always say she covered the ground she stood on. She's a strong woman. And I was a problem child. I remember when I purchased the first home for my mother, She looked at me, she said, "You were such a problem child." I said, "I know, but I got money now."
It
And
covered a
so,
multitude of sins, huh?
oh man, because when you think about life, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. I live in Atlanta, and I was with Dr. Taha, who's one of the top oncologists with Cancer Centers of America. He said, "Mr. Brown," I said, "Yes." He said, "You know that you've been living with fourth stage cancer." I said, "Yes." And he said, "Your PSA is 2,400." I said, "Yes." And it has metastasized to 7 areas of your body. And I said, "Yes." He said, "Why do you sound excited?" I said, "Because 7 is my lucky number." I said, "I wanted 7 kids. I was born February the 17th. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. 7 is my lucky number." He looked at his nurse and said, "This is a strange one here." I said, "Is there anything else? Can you give me a second opinion?" And he said, "Yes. And you're ugly too." I said, "Oh my God." I said, "You didn't call me ugly. You didn't go there." He said, "Yes, you're ugly." He said, "However, you got this. You and God got this. We determine the diagnosis. You and God determines the prognosis." He said, "I never tell my patients that you're terminally ill. What I say is that my knowledge, my ability, and my skills have terminated. Now you have to become an active force in determining how long you're going to be here."
Mm.
And that was so rewarding for me because, as you know, how we live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. And what speakers do, coaches and individuals who have a passion for changing people's lives, we distract, dispute, and inspire. We distract them from their current story. And through our presentation, we dismantle their current belief system and we ignite the spirit in them and the energy and the courage and the conviction to create the next greatest version of themselves, to begin to write a new chapter in their lives. And so instead of leaving his office with a heart full of fear, Zig Ziglar uses an acronym that I love. He said, most people in a fearful situation, they forget everything and run. But there's a small number of people who face everything and rise. And so I rose up inside myself and I knew I had a battle on my hand. And life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. So to me, it's about fighting a good fight every day and enjoying every moment that God has blessed us with. We're here because of his grace and mercy.
Amen. Love that. So many great. Les, you have been so good at just dropping nugget after nugget after nugget. I mean, I've been in auditoriums, thousands of people, and heard you speak. I've been in one-on-one, and it's just you just drop so many nuggets. I mean, it's almost unconscious competence for you. And I know you teach speakers how to be great speakers. What do you
Yes.
think are some of the secrets that have allowed you to impact so many millions of people over the years?
I'm glad you asked that question because I have created a program called Discover Your Power Voice. And what it is, when I came into the speaking industry, and it very much is dominated by the philosophy of the Dale Carnegie course. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them.
Mhm.
There's something else. The speaking industry is dominated by speakers who provide a lot of information. And from what they consider the Bible, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, I've come to know that if information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy.
That's so true.
So what I advance with and how I train speakers how to use their story to transform an audience individually and collectively. And on the other hand, if if you use your story, you can expand a person's mind. You create a significant emotional event. You get them to live out of their imagination rather than their history, and you create an experience. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with idea or concept or an experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. And so what my success has been is using my story, and something my mentor taught me, Mike Williams, who wrote the book The Road to Your Best Stuff. The Dale Carnegie course, which is a very good course, they teach, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. What I train speakers to do, because the industry has been hijacked by people who speak to sell. I speak to transform lives, to get people to know that they're here to do the greater work. He taught me, Brownie, never let what you want to say get in the way of what your audience wants to hear. And all thy getting, get understanding. Ask questions. What is it that they need? What is it that they're looking for? What's the unspoken conversation? And what is it that they want that audience to walk away with at the end of your presentation? And so by putting in that kind of work on the presentation, custom designing it for the audience. And he said, impact drives income and requests. The average speaker, they get around 25 calls a year. I get over 3,000 using the approach that we use. And so that has been my secret. And I've trained some speakers, man. Johnny Wimbrey, who wrote the book From the Hood to Doing Good. I wrote the foreword for that. One of my first students. He's earned over $30 million in speaking. Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant, and she has just been phenomenal. She wrote the book called Action, Action Despite the Distractions, and I wrote the foreword for that. I could have gotten here faster if I could have gotten the endorsement of the guys at the top, but they saw me as competition. I believe there's enough for everybody. So not only do I train my speakers in this intense one-on-one coaching program that I provide, but I endorse them, write their forwards for their books, and I do speaker summits where it's headlining them. I call it the Hungry Ones. My new book is entitled, You Gotta Be Hungry.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, Les, one of the things I'll give the audience a perspective. One night we were at SANG, Speakers Authors Networking Group, that Larry Benet, our friend Larry,
Yes.
founded, and I remember I was there in Vegas, and you took the stage, and you spoke. And this is all speakers and authors in this group, and I mean some really big names in the group, like Les. And I remember at the end, Les, you said, "Hey, I really need some help in basically in social media and marketing." Mm-hmm. And I remember you saying, I need some help. If any of you are willing to help me, I would really appreciate it. And a bunch of people came up afterwards and were standing. And I thought the humbleness that it took for a man of your stature, with your wisdom and your insights and your experience in the industry, you probably had more experience than almost anyone else in the room as far as commanding an audience and speaking into it. And yet you were willing to put yourself in a place and ask for help. Where did that come from? Because I think that's the secret.
Well, I teach people, ask for help, not because you're weak. Ask for help because you want to remain strong. And ask for help and don't stop until you get it. All of us will come to a place in our lives and in our careers that we're like Einstein, who said, the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And so the technology is outside of my reach. I have 3 good working 8 tracks that my kids have been trying to sell on eBay, and I won't let them because they're working real good and I know how to work them without asking them for help.
I love it. I love
So
it.
I realize that most people want to ask for help
Mm.
because of pride. Pride cometh before a fall. Because of ego. Ego means edging God. No, ask for help. All of us have our moments in the Garden of Gethsemane where we need some help. And there's nothing wrong with asking for it.
Yeah, I love it. And the response to the crowd was awesome. I mean, they
Yeah.
were blown away that you did that. And I think there was a great,
And people
great
came to my
training. And I
rescue.
think what you
Yes.
did was you did a great training for a lot of those great speakers that were in the room,
Mm.
to be able to do that. The other thing I've really been impressed by you has been your ability to reach inside someone's being and pull out their greatness. You have this there's greatness inside of you. I've heard you say it 1,000 times, and yet to watch you, whether it's an audience or whether it's over dinner, be able to reach into somebody and pull out their greatness. And I'm thinking of a couple of instances where people have told you their story, and then you've told their story back to them better than they told their story to begin with.
Yes.
I mean, it's brilliant how you do that. What do you think is the catalyst for that for you? What's the process that you go through to be able to do that?
One of the things that I've always taught people, focus on your calling. A job is what we get paid for. A calling is what we are made for. And it will reveal its secrets to you. And most people are living a misplaced life. 86% of Americans go to jobs that they hate. And at the same time, they hope that they don't get fired. It's like mixed emotions. Seeing someone you hate drive off a cliff in your car. You're glad they're gone, but not in your car.
So true.
So this is what I'm here for. I believe that we were chosen out of 400 million sperm to do the greater work. Ours man said we should be ashamed to die until we have made some major contribution to humankind. We are here to live a life that will outlive us. And when you realize and come to the awareness that we're here for God, that when I get up in the morning, my ritual is the first thing I say is all things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. And then I have an affirmation that I say, Lord, whatever I face today together, you and I can handle it. And we're going to face some stuff. Viktor Frankl calls it unavoidable suffering in this thing called life. If it ain't one thing, it's another. And then I write a gratitude list, 7 things that I'm grateful for. I know that we're here because of God's grace and mercy. I I know that there's a greater work, at this stage of my life, at 75. My goal is to live full and to die a life of no regrets. Dr. Miles Monroe, who was a great minister out of the Bahamas, he said, rob the cemetery of your gifts, of your dreams, of your abilities, of your leadership, of your talents, of your voice and your story. Most people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. And they take their gifts and their dreams and their books and their music and their art to the cemetery. And so our goal and our job is to help people to live full and to die empty. And that's the focus of my life each and every day.
I love it. And I've heard you tell that story about standing there at the grave and
Oh,
oh
yes.
my gosh, every time you say that, it gives me chills every time. And and I think it's because it's not the words that you say, it's the delivery, and because you know that it's what you feel. And I love that that's one of your callings, right? That's your calling. You got to inspire people to die empty, to live full. I love that.
Yes. You know, what I tell and work with speakers on is that when you speak, people are asking three questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care?
Mm.
And so the difference between what we do and what ministers do, ministers preach the gospel about Jesus. I preach the gospel that Jesus preached. They sell the messenger. I sell his message. And I weave it in my presentation. And I talk about my favorite book when I get ready to quote scripture, and people will come to me afterwards and either say, oh, that's my favorite book, or they will ask, what's your favorite book? I say, don't worry, you're going to hell anyhow, don't worry. I say, I'm just playing, but I'm serious. But the main thing is that we have to be the message. I work first with the messenger and then the message. People say, practice what you preach. I believe, preach what you practice. And as messengers, we are to live an achievement driven life. Herein my Father glorified that ye bear much fruit. To live a life that makes impact, a life that we create a presence. You know, I'm thinking about Leo Tolstoy, the Russian author. He said, as I face inevitable death, what in the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? And if you think about the people that you've spoken for, the lives that you've touched, and the people that you have influenced over the years, and the people that they will influence, including these people that's on the computer now, that work will not be undone or destroyed when you're gone. There are generations yet unborn that will be influenced and impacted by your words, by your training, and by your teaching people. Don't settle for less. There's a next level. And that next level, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is it in the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. You're going to go through some stuff, but keep the faith, because faith, not tested, can't be trusted. Keep the faith.
Mm.
Understand and know that you're going to go through some stuff. It's a part of the process. Think it not strange that you face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have some tribulations. And as Forrest Gump would say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's all I got to say about that.
Oh, I love it. You know, I've been in a couple of your trainings, and it's always been fun to just watch the lights go on in people about how they can change their message so that it actually has an even greater impact. And one of the things I took away, I was in LA with you, and I watched one of your trainings, and I remember walking away that everything he's teaching about speaking applies to how you speak to one another in the grocery market, in your house, or from stage. That your impact can be just as meaningful to that individual that you meet in the store, or that kid in your house, or your spouse, or that audience that you're speaking on. And I was on your radio show, and I remember just having a blast, just being able to say, all these things that you teach are applicable to everyday life. It's not just for the professional speaker. And I really want people to grasp that, because I think that there's so much, and we talked before we came on live. Right now, there's so many people that are just trying to figure the next thing out. whether it's their next job, whether it's their next relationship, whether it's their next level of health, whatever it is. What do you say to those people that are just really struggling right now?
Man, this is the greatest time in my lifetime to be alive. Let me share with you why.
Love it.
2007, Time magazine said the computer was the person of the year, all right? With the coronavirus, over 50 million people have lost their jobs. Millions of people are being foreclosed on, and others are being evicted. Millions of businesses have gone under. But now we've gone from brick and mortar to click and order. When I went to Dubai to speak, when I got back, I was smiling from ear to ear. I love that country and the culture. And all my speaking engagements were eliminated. So now, you know, when the disciples were discouraged because they couldn't catch any fish, you know, the Jewish carpenter said, throw your net on the other side, that you have to change your approach. So now I'm giving 3 to 4 presentations. Now I'm training virtually in the safety of my home. I don't have to worry about the computer sneezing on me. It's not asymptomatic. It won't cough on me. And now in my Mickey Mouse underwear, I can speak, I can train, I can transform lives around the world. I spoke in Morocco yesterday in the morning, and I spoke in the UK in the afternoon. And I'm speaking to you now, and I did 3 other cities earlier today. So what we have to do is be open. Number one, having the courage to learn something new. You know, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're willing to learn, no one can stop you. So we have to have the courage to change direction in our lives. Marion White, he wrote something that really grabbed me. He said, in life, when you don't know and don't have the courage to face the reality that you've outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life will move on you. And there are experiences, Bob, that we have that at the time when they happen, the feeling is that they happened to us. When I was fired from radio, I was devastated because I love radio. It's my first love, and I can master it now. But there was something bigger for me. And Helen Keller said, when one door closes, another door opens. But most of us spend time feeling depressed and angry and powerless and hopeless about that door that has closed. But had I not been fired from radio, I would not have become a state legislator and passed 14 bills my first term. Had I not been fired from radio, midway of my 3rd term, when I was the chairman of the Education Committee and the Human Resource Committee, I would not have been in a position to resign and go back to Miami to take care of my foster mother and fulfill a dream of buying her a home. When my sister called and said, Leslie, are you sitting down? And I said, what's wrong with Mama? And she said, Mama has breast cancer. I said, I'll be right there. And she said, oh, you don't have to come. You know, they have wonderful nursing homes in Dade County. I said, listen to me, Margaret Ann. She's not going to a nursing home. We will be there when she takes her last breath. And I resigned immediately. That day I left my car, my furniture, everything, my political career. And when I rang the doorbell, a lady named Mildred, a friend of hers, came to the door and said, oh my God, Mamie, Leslie's here. And I heard my mother say, I knew he would come. I knew he would come. And I believe that all of us have someone that we love, that if something happened to them, that we will be there. We're going through disruptions, but disruptions happen all the time. When a guy looked at me and said, "You have 4th-stage cancer," that was a disruption. Cancer is the most feared word in 7 different languages. And we're more than conquerors. What does that mean? You do the best that you can, and God will do what you can. And so what's going on right now is that people are consumed with fear. And we want to keep social distancing from people and the refrigerator. Hello. We want to be concerned, but we don't want to be consumed with fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. You can't think when you're fearful. You can't think when you are operating from a place that I don't know what to do. You don't want to claim that thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established unto you. You have to say to yourself, I'm going to make some great stuff happen. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. We've got to speak from a place of faith to call forth those things that be not as though they were. And as I said earlier, faith not tested can't be trusted. It's easy to have faith when your bills are paid, you get a good prognosis from a doctor, or your marriage is working out, or the children are acting like they have good sense. It's easy to have faith then, but when life knocks on the door and the messenger of misery shows up, that's when we have to pull out our faith. Therefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. And we're going through that kind of experience right now. And we have to pull out the armor of courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the willingness to act in spite of the fear, to rebuild our lives, to rethink how we've been showing up, to turn to each other rather than on each other. Domestic violence has increased 40%. The divisiveness that's going on right now has brought out some ugly speed of the leaders, speed of the group. And it's a time that I never thought I would see again. I remember I was with my mother on Miami Beach. I was going with her to work. Miss Harris, our next door neighbor, said, "Mamie, we'll keep 6 of the kids, but Leslie, he's just a handful. You got to take him with you. He's a little touched in the head." And so I was 5 years old at the time. And I was with my mother and I saw these kids drinking from a water fountain. And I let my mother's hand go and I ran to the water fountain, stood in line, and then I started drinking. And my mother grabbed me. She said, "Leslie, don't you do that." And she snatched me down on the ground and started punching me like I was a man with a crazed look in the eyes. "Don't you ever, ever do that again." And I said, "Mama, please, Mama, it's me, Mama." My mother had never done that before. And then this white policeman, he had a nightstick in his hand and he was hitting his hand. He said, "Okay, you beat that little nigger boy enough. He will never do that again." And he walked off and he looked back and said, "How to learn you," and was laughing. And my mother, she was crying profusely and she picked me up and she said, "Leslie, I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to punch you and beat you like this. But I saw that policeman's face turn red and he was coming toward you with his nightstick and I had to distract him. And had he hit you, he would have had to kill me. I would have fought him till he killed me. And I would have to leave you and your brothers and sisters to fend for yourself." I said, "Mama, but I was only drinking water from the water fountain." She said, "That water fountain is for whites only. We can't drink from that." And I said, "He's going to beat me with that nightstick? I was just drinking water." She said, "Yes, son. Yes, they hate us." I said, "Why?" She said, "I don't know. But don't you hate them. Don't you hate them? God is love. And he who dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in them. Don't you hate them? You always show love. You hear me? I said, yes, ma'am, Mama. Yes, ma'am. And in that moment, Martin Seligman, who's from the University of Minnesota, who wrote a book called Learned Optimism, 26-year most exhaustive stuff written on self-esteem. He said, between the ages of 5, he said, you determine based upon your environment, the conversations, the things that you observe, what's available to you and what's not available to you. And at 5, I knew that there were things available to those white kids, like drinking from a water fountain, like going into a restaurant, like sitting in the front of the bus that was not available to me. And so it created a hunger. The title of my new book is called You Gotta Be Hungry. That when you live in a culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self. They used to have signs on Miami Beach when I was a kid that said, Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed. There were places on Miami Beach that people of color could not go, but a dog could go. And what I had to do was to plant myself in books and motivational messages to rise above my environment and not internalize the things that were designed to marginalize me and destroy my sense of self because of the color of my skin and because I had the complexion of rejection. I remember when I saw Tony Robbins' infomercial, I wrote to Gunther Rinker, who sponsored, and they've spent millions of dollars to promote his personal power. And I sent them one of my motivational recordings that said, you have a very inspiring story, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade and failing in the 8th grade. And you've come over a lot of odds with no college training. But you're Black, and we don't believe that a Black person will be able to appeal to the general American public. And I wrote them back and said, thank you for reminding me that I'm Black. I never would have known that if you hadn't told me. I said, I'll see you from the top.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to the person that opened that email or opened that letter.
Oh, man,
what
yes.
it looked like when you told them that you did.
Mm-hmm.
How funny. Wow. Les, you've impacted so many people over the course of your years. I mean, what's the largest audience you've spoken to?
80,000 people can go online and see Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome to over 80,000 people. And the speech is called, It's Not Over Until You Win. Dexter Yeager, who used to earn $1 million every 17 hours, 50% of the volume through Amway went through his organization. And he had a choice between me, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, Robert Schuller, Possibility Thinking, Tony Robbins, Personal Power, Jim Rohn. He said, but I want you to do it. And I said, why? He said, I heard this speech that you gave on a cassette tape called You Gotta Be Hungry, How You Became a Disc Jockey. And he said, I think that will galvanize and motivate and hold that audience's attention. And Bob, I don't even remember giving the speech. I was so scared. I went to the bathroom 7 times. I can't even watch it. It makes me nervous. I don't remember it. I probably watched about 10 minutes of it and I stopped. I said, oh my goodness. Look at the size of that audience. But my mentor, Mike Williams, who wrote the book called The Road to Your Best Stuff, he said, Brownie, you could do this. And I teach my speakers that sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. And when he looked at me and said, when they gave me the microphone, Brownie, you got this. You can do this. Make your mother proud. I said, thank you, Mike. And when I turned, that's all that I remember. And I had that in my head. You can do this. Make your mother proud. And I started speaking. And so I believe that we all are born with stories of greatness in us, and that we need to hear voices of Bob Darnell who will release those stories of greatness that will cause us to go within ourselves. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. When shall the kingdom of God come? Kingdom of God cometh not by observation. They shall say, it's neither lo there, lo here. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. And the kingdom is voice activated. So when you speak, when the people that's on this screen speak to people, they release the kingdom of potential. They release that greatness. They inspire them to live out of their imagination. Einstein said the imagination is the preview of what's to come. We are here, the people on your computer screen, to do, I believe, the greater work. That's why we're here at this point in time. Otherwise, we'll be taking a dirt nap.
Oh, brother, man. I watched that Atlanta, Georgia Dome, and amazing.
Thank you.
You have made such an impact. You've made a lot of money speaking, and yet you have been so philanthropic about helping others and giving to other causes. Um, I just wonder. You mentioned some of the past in days past where speakers were so competitive without each other, and they didn't want to share resources, and they didn't want to give accolades because they were. What was the turning point? Do you think in the industry, or has the industry changed yet to where it's become uh, better versus bitter?
The industry has changed dramatically. I said earlier, they've been trained to speak to sell. I believe when you create value for people, when you change their lives individually and collectively, you don't have to learn neurolinguistic programming or group hypnosis to get people to go to the back of the room to buy your products. That when you are able to inspire them to live a heart-centered life, where your heart is, there your treasures also, and speak from your heart, that people will want to purchase your programs. They will want to be in your seminar and workshop and be in your energy. You don't have to have all these gimmicks, but they know it works. People love gimmicks. People love being seduced. There's a movie that I saw the other night that deeply disturbed me. I couldn't sleep. And it's called The Social Dilemma. And the technology, it's on Netflix, that's competing for real estate in our minds, how it manipulates us and our children. And when I go to events, that's why I'm glad to work from home, and I only work with a limited number of people, and I have my staff vet them because I want to know what drives them. I only want to work, at 75, with people that are hungry, those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, right thinking, right words, right feelings, right relationship, and right vision shall be filled. Those who hunger and thirst after righteousness shall be filled. And I believe that the speaking industry is missing out on an opportunity of helping people who feel hopeless and helpless. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. Our goal, I believe, even before the coronavirus, the suicide rate in America had increased 32%. And for our children between the ages of 5 and 11, it has soared over 70%. Now it's going to another level. And so I believe that we're here to create a culture. Nothing happens until it's spoken. In the beginning was the word. Death and life is in the tongue. And most people speak death rather than life. I believe that we're here to bring the light. You know, people say, I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I say, the reason you can't see it at the end of the tunnel because you are the light. You are the light. And when we are able to speak and transform how people see themselves from the experience that we create, giving them a larger vision of themselves, knowing that He'll never leave us nor forsake us, knowing that we're here for the greater good. When we speak from a place of, I'm here for God. Lord, use me, use my voice, use my story, and build my character so I'm not just speaking, but I represent the words that come out of my mouth. I'm living this message. When we do that, I think that we operate from the thinking of Horace Mann, who said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. That puts us on the path of making a major contribution, how we live our lives, how we show up, and the impact that we make. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so. You know, it's hard sometimes to hear somebody like yourself who's so accomplished, and who's made such an impact. For sometimes for people to go, yeah, but that's less. I mean, he's got that golden voice, and he's got that great story, and all that stuff. What do you say
Bob,
to this one, Bob?
Marianne Williamson built a whole speaking career writing about a book called The Return to Love, and she's writing about the Course in Miracles. All of us, as my mentor told me, after procrastinating for 14 years, and I said, Mike, who's going to hire me? AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric. I don't have the credibility to speak for those people. I don't have a college degree to compete with people with PhDs and MBAs. And he said, Brownie, it's not what you don't have, it's what you think you need that keeps you from becoming successful. And you better hope that I win this conversation, because if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. All of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn. Are you willing to learn? Are you coachable? I said, yes. I want you to win the conversation. And I thank God he did. I'm so grateful.
Guys, this is a great time. If you've got a question, raise your hand here in Zoom so we can call on you. But Les, how can people get a hold of your book? And then how can people get a hold of your course and take your courses and be trained by you, Les Brown?
My book, you can go to IamHungryLesBrown.com. IamHungryLesBrown.com and purchase my book. If they're interested in my one-on-one coaching, and I just ended a class, they can email me at Les lesbrown77@gmail.com. 7 is my lucky number. lesbrown77@gmail.com. And me or someone from my staff will get back to them. I work with small groups, and I hope they're coachable and hungry and want to change people's lives. And also I teach them how to earn money doing this. It's easier now when we look at, we're going from brick and mortar to click and order. It's easier now. Millions of people, they're talking about the flu season. Let me share something with you. The mental meltdown, the things that's happening to people. Talking about seeing loved ones die that you can't be at their side, or doing a funeral on Zoom, touch deprivation, every day living in fear. I got on an elevator and a guy, he and I were on there together, and you could only let 4 people on the elevator at a time, and 2 people got off. And this guy got ready to sneeze and pull his mask down and sneeze. Now, usually you say, God bless you when somebody sneezes. He took that mask off and sneezed. I was about to whoop his behind. I looked at him and said, you about to make me lose my mind up in here. Up in here, you about to make me act a fool. Up in here. I got off on a floor that I wasn't even intended to go. And maybe I was upstairs in my room where I am now, and sneezed after watching CNN and all the new people that have been infected by the coronavirus. And I sneezed and I ran out of my room and got halfway downstairs and said, wait a minute, that's my sneeze. But I came back up and got out my Lysol and started spraying. I said, wait a minute, I gotta calm down. I said, I'm having a hot flash. Oh my God. I'm looking at too much television. I got to calm down. Oh, Lord, I'm losing it at 75. Help me, Lord. Oh my goodness.
Crack me up.
I got the room from my own sneeze. Help me, somebody.
Les, I remember the first night we met. I remember being at Sing. I remember you coming to Next Level by Association and speaking at the City Club in downtown LA, pouring down rain. We had a room full of people. I've experienced you in so many different ways. And the one thing that I can say for those of you who have not met you personally, I've experienced you in so many different ways, and yet I've always experienced the same Les Brown.
Thank you.
Better every time I
say about you. Yes, that's why when you call, I answer.
And
you
I appreciate
my group, that. And I said yes. I say yes to everybody. I have the Midas touch because I don't touch everything.
I have always appreciated that about you, and I greatly appreciate that. So let's call on a couple people real quick. Ruth, go ahead, lower your hand, bring yourself on camera, and this is Ruth. She's an amazing entrepreneur, Les, that a very, very great member of Next Level by Association, just a heart of gold.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, Ruth. Hello.
I have a couple of questions. Can you give me a power quote? Yeah, powerful word. But I don't know if you can see my name. Can you see my name?
I can see your name, Ruth. Yes.
Ruth Young Loaiza. You got me out of a lot of depressing times in my life. And I dream of this day. And I can't believe that I'm talking to you right now.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you, Ruth. I feel honored to be able to talk to you, that we have been brought together. This is a God moment.
Yes. I even got dressed up. They know me. I never do my hair or my makeup, but I was like, I'm going to have a picture with Les Brown.
Okay.
Exciting.
Thank you. What is your question?
Can you give me a powerful quote? I actually was raped at the age of 13. I got two near-death experiences on a very serious domestic relationship, and I went to homelessness. I mean, I've been homeless, and now I'm in the book that you forward, One Habit for the Great. Uh, I'm so nervous.
That's okay.
from the leaders, the One Habit for the Great Leaders. And so, yeah, I listen to you. I'm on other inspirational speakers, but you really got me very excited. I remember that story about the cassettes that you talk about, and I was so afraid of going through that, and I just went through that. But just seeing you, the success that you have had throughout your life, it's just great, a great motivation to continue going.
What do you do for a living, Ruth?
I used to clean houses for 24 years. I quit cleaning houses about 2 years ago, and I became an inventor. I just got my second patent granted few months ago, and I now have my product having a lot of success. I'm gonna be selling millions and millions and billions of bed sheets.
Very good. Bob, are you recording everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he's going to give you a copy of this recording, Ruth. Something just dropped in my spirit. I want you to take notes as I speak, okay?
Yes.
Very good. First of all, thank you so much for your transparency and for your courage to share what you have shared and for showing up the way that you're showing up in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ruth, and as you look at yourself during this time where we are in the coronavirus, a lot of people are going through a lot of things and rethinking their lives and really dealing with feeling vulnerable and hopeless and helpless. I've had a lot of things happen to me, being raped, but I'm not here to talk about me. I've gone through some stuff. But we all have faced some things in life. And I made a decision that the things that I have gone through, that they were not going to determine who I was going to become. I decided to define myself. And I want to share with you what I learned about this thing called life. Number one, write this down. Release your past. As I think about myself and think about where I am right now, that what I allowed to compromise my ability to dream, to short circuit my living a full life, to rise above the pain, I had to realize what Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind, reaching forth into those things which are before, but we press toward the mark of the higher calling. However, we might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us. And so learning how to forgive, and forgiving is not forgetting, forgiving is remembering without anger and pain and guilt. Release your past. Next thing is, you are unstoppable. That when you begin to look at your life and the things that you want, you've got to be willing to work on it. Nothing happens until you work. And so pray as if everything depends upon God, but work as if everything depends upon you. You are unstoppable. There is something that George Washington Carver said. He said, do what you can where you are with what you have and never be satisfied. English is my second language, but because I am unstoppable, because I refuse to allow my past to cripple me and I released it, I made a total commitment to live a bigger life. And that's what you must do. Just make a total commitment. Nothing happens until you are all in. 99 and a half won't get it. Whatever you see for yourself, hold a vision of it. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. and make a total commitment. A.L. Williams said, all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. But make sure you do all you can do. Next time you have bacon and eggs, look at it. The chicken was involved, but the pig was committed. The pig made a total commitment. The next thing is higher standards. I went from cleaning homes, cleaning bathrooms, and working and doing work that people perhaps would look down on me. But because of my higher standards, he said, herein my Father glorify that ye bear much fruit. Because of the higher standards that I set for myself, most people are very comfortable with living a small life, but I wanted to be a larger version of myself. You can't fit a big dream in a small mind. And I engaged in self-development training called the Next Level. I was looking for the next greatest version of myself. I realized you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. And because of my higher standards, I was willing to invest in myself. Warren Buffett was asked during the last recession, what's the most important investment you can make? And here's a guy with billions of dollars in real estate, billions of dollars in the stock market. And he said, the most important investment you can make is in yourself. And so I found this guy, an icon. His name is Bob Donnell. And he has this program that thousands of people's lives have been transformed. And I decided to invest in me. Release your past. Become unstoppable, total commitment, have higher standards, bet on you. My name is Ruth Young. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, love it. Love it. Thanks, Alonso. Appreciate that. That's love that, huh, Ruth?
Ruth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't hear. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You see what I did with your name?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Release your past, unstoppable spirit, total commitment, have higher standards. You never stop learning, Ruth. You were called for such a time as this. Ruth, some things happen to you and some things happen for you. You're God's masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. And I dream of the day that I'm going to be able to hug you.
Well, let's do that now. Oh my goodness.
And I love it.
Thank you. My son, John Leslie, is signaling me for another Zoom call.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Les, as always, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your mentorship, and I appreciate who you are in this world and how you leave your mark. I'm grateful for everything you've done for me in my life and for the community, Next Level community. And I just want you to know I love you, brother.
I love you, and thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And we got to do something together virtually. We call it Salt and Pepper, and I will be salt, okay?
I look forward to it. We will definitely do that.
Okay, bye for now.
I am so sorry, but I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful, Bob. I wanted to really, really cry and I was really holding it, but you have made one of my dreams come true, Bob Donnell.
Well, when we get back to meeting in person, we'll bring Les. He's always been very gracious with Next Level by Association, and we'll make sure that you get that meeting, that introduction. Guys, bring yourself on if you want. We're going to start doing something a little bit different with Next Level by Association virtual at the end of every one. So hopefully you guys will stick around. Go ahead and bring yourself on camera and What I want to do is I want to be able to ask you guys to share maybe some of your takeaways. What did you take away from tonight? And I apologize we couldn't get to more questions. I didn't realize you had another Zoom call right after. But what were some of the takeaways, guys? Just unmute yourself and go ahead and say.
Man, so hi.
Hey,
I would say that one of the takeaways is there's definitely an art to treating someone better than $1 million, and it's just I think that makes the world of a difference. One of the greatest people I ever spoke to in my life once said that all we need is a good conversation, and literally a good conversation can literally make the entire world go around. And just that blessings bring more blessings, and just good-heartedness brings more good-heartedness, and we saw all that today in one spot, in one place. So thank you for doing this, and thank you for having us here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being on and being a part of it tonight.
Oh,
Who else has a comment? Okay, Karen.
Hey there.
Hey there.
I like where he said you can't fit a big idea in a small mind.
Great point.
I love that. And that you can't see yourself in the picture if you're in the frame. Get out of the frame and just.
Yeah, it's a great one. Thanks, Karen. Joe Ingram.
Joe Ingram has a comment.
Okay.
Okay, so I was laughing. So Netta and I are here watching the stuff we had pulled over to watch last. And so we were really enjoying the chicken contributed, but the pig was committed and all in. That to me, just that again, now you can just go check everything you're doing in life and say, are you playing with the pig, or are you going with you just the chicken and contributing?
Amen.
That was amazing.
Amen. Thanks. Happy birthday, Netta.
Thank you.
So,
All right. Who else has a comment? Something to take away? Yes, Christy.
Well, first, I just have to say to Joe, I knew he was going to zone in on that comment.
I think we all do.
it was bacon. Come on.
I knew it. But number two, what I appreciated was his laughter and the use of humor. And that's something that I think is so needed. And just his gift of how much laughter. And I think especially when times are challenging, the humor and the laughter are so healing.
Yeah.
And that was a huge takeaway.
Yeah, great observation. Hey, Donna, go ahead.
Yeah, what a treat to listen to Les tonight. And like Christy said, his laughter, but that man is timeless to me. When I hear him, he sounds so young. He's 75 years old. And what really just rang with me was how he says that we have a life to live, that we need to live a life that will outlive us. And that how many people are getting older and thinking like they're not worth anything. They just need to retire, and so part of what I want to do with my work is inspire older people to see that they have this wisdom and that they can bring so much good to the world and to the younger generations too, and encourage people. And so what a light he is, to bring this message to us and to encourage all of us, no matter what age you are. So to me, yeah, the timeless nature of Les is just amazing. What a treat. So thank you, Bob, for bringing him on tonight. I really love this.
Absolutely. Great points there. Who else?
I do. Bob, my video won't come on, which is okay. My biggest takeaway was when he said that most people die at 25, but we don't bury them till later, or 65 or whatever. And that was kind of, oh, there you go. Thanks. That was my biggest takeaway. I've heard Les several times, but there's always nuggets to drop.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, Netta.
Yeah, happy birthday, Netta. And he's so masterful at how he delivers them that they don't go unnoticed. You notice this. So great to have you with us, Bill. We've got so many people on here. We've got people that have been here since we started this 10 years ago in person. But the last 8 months we haven't been able to do it except virtually. But you know, Bill Janishak, he was there the very day we started. Joe Ingram was there, I think, the second month. Joe and Netta. You know, I mean, so many. My daughter Brittany's down there in the bottom. Guys, we've just had such a blast over the last 10 years, having people like Keith Ferrazzi, Les Brown, Jarek Robbins. I mean, you know, just amazing people. Tommy Baylor, so many great people, and
Glenn Morshower.
And it's always been just a blast to have so many great people. And but you know, really, and I say this every time, but they come maybe because of some of the relationship currency I have with them, but they also come because they know the people that are going to be in the room, whether it's virtually or whether it's in real life. And so that's a testament to you guys. They come knowing that they're going to have great people that are coachable, that want to learn, that want to become the next best version of themselves. So I appreciate that about you guys. Flo, did you have a comment? I see you came on. No? Okay. Who else wanted to make a comment about something, maybe a takeaway? Weldon, I just want to call on you because Weldon had surgery today and, or last night? Yesterday.
Yeah.
And got home today. And, you know, he texted me. I said, how you doing? He said, I'm doing good. He goes, I registered for tonight to be on. I'm not sure if I'm going to be awake or not, but I registered. And he's here. So Weldon won. I'm glad the surgery went well. We love you. We're all praying for you and believing great things for that. So how you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay tonight. I didn't take a pain pill or anything like that, so I could pay attention. I did put some comments in the chat just to be on the safe side. I've literally followed Les most of my life. He's just an incredible guy. And even, I mean, just, you could just pick one little excerpt of one little thing that he says, and it fixes whatever it is you're trying to get over at the moment. And one thing that he said tonight was about, you know, the COVID thing. And now you can't even stay, you know, with a loved one in the hospital. First time ever I've stayed in a hospital by myself in ICU last night. And, you know, you got the IV in you or whatever. And the only thing I asked the lady what she was giving me for pain. She said, morphine. I said, well, hit me with the morphine then. She said, well, that way you can go to sleep or whatever. I said, trust me, I'm not going to sleep. Just hit me with the morphine. And I stayed up all night, scared to death. Just, I mean, it was so weird not having anybody that you know around you in a hospital. And the level of care was okay. I really didn't have anything to complain about with that department, but never slept a wink. And they hit me with everything I could take. And I just stayed up, watched TV, played on my phone a little bit, and just read a book. And today about, I guess I got home today about 4 o'clock. And been into bed ever since. But I was looking forward to listening to Les. He's always got some little nugget he'll drop on you that you have to write down and use it somewhere. And so I really do appreciate you bringing him on, Bob. Appreciate all you do. Thank you. Thank you for all the prayers too.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.
So I'm good to go. I'll be fine.
Well, we'll keep you in the prayers.
Thank you.
Guys, if you're a guest here, just so you know, this is a program that like I said, it's normally a dinner that we do for the last 10 years, but it's virtual now. It's $50 a month. We reduced it to $50 a month. You commit to a 12-month commitment just so that it's part of a community versus just a hop in, hop out. But $50 a month, and you get this, and then also I do something every Monday, which is more of a training, but I bring on different people to share their story and different ideas on how you can grow your business, grow your life. And that's included. So you've got 5 different things that you can plug into during the month. So hopefully you'll consider that if you're a guest here tonight. You're allowed to come once as a guest and be a part of this. And so we want to welcome you and tell you thank you for being here and appreciate you showing up. That being said, guys, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you, each of you. Grateful for the opportunities that we have that we don't even see yet. Like Les said, there's opportunities surrounding us right now that we're not even aware of because we're thinking about the opportunities that were taken away or the opportunities that we're missing. But there's so many opportunities that we each have, and so I'm grateful for those, and I'm grateful for each one of you. And I just want to tell you, I love you. I appreciate you. And if you're a guest and you want more information, shoot me a private message here. We'll get you the link. It's just a simple link that you fill out online, and we'll get you enrolled so that you can participate in this and other things going on throughout the month. So, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Get out there, make it a great month, and enjoy your next level.
All right.
Thanks,
Love
Bob.
you, Bob.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Bob. Love you too.
Love you. Good night.
Great seeing everybody.
Bye,
It's great
Joe.
seeing me. Yes, it was great seeing me. Oh, never mind.
Always great seeing you, Joe.
Always great, Joe.
It is. Reach out to Bob if
Yeah.
you're smart. Sign up.
You're breaking up.